Okay, welcome to this last in the series of language learning activities using paper. Again, most of these activities are most relevant for traditional group settings, though there are certainly adaptations for independent learners. But the theme this week really is going to be about kind of the more difficult stuff, right? Learning more difficult things. This first one is just a paper clock. And, telling time can be a real challenge, I think, in language classes. I think you'll find that there are people who don't read analog time. There are definitely some differences in how it's done in different languages. There's military time, which is, the 24-hour clock, which is used in many countries. And all of these can really present challenges for this kind of important survival skill that also incorporates a lot of numbers and other things that are essential, but it can be a real rough spot. So one of the ways to use paper to do this is just simple piece of paper. You hand out some brads. I think paper plates work really nicely for this, but you can do cardstock, squares, and basically they make a clock with they use the brad and some cardstock to make movable hands. And students are so creative. They do a fantastic job making these. I should say I got this idea many years ago from a book, and I incorporated it by Deborah Blaz. She's fantastic, and I incorporated this into my practice, and the results have just been fantastic. It's so much easier to teach time doing a lot of CI, and then when they're really getting it, maybe play some bingo to start with, not even explaining time, and then the next activity would be them showing you the time on the clocks that they made. And if you have a group make them, you can keep them and just recycle them, maybe not have the next group make them, or make them every few years as um, subject they break down because of wear and tear. So basically they show you what time it is, right? Once they've understood this a little bit better. And then what's fun is they can do a lot of partner activities where they have to do this in pairs, tell each other what time it is, and they have to show on their clock that they know it's a great quick assessment, and it's active and it's fun. This next activity, bingo, we all know, we all love it, but I want to share a twist from Martina Beck's from Comprehensible Classroom. Just fabulous idea that she had. So simple. So basically, you take a piece of paper and then just a 9 grid, and then you supply the word bank and they fill it in. But what I think is clever about this is you give them a word bank. Obviously, it can be for you can make it as simple or as complicated as you want, but this is a great way to get in some difficult grammar. So you create the word bank. It might be, 20 or 25 things they have to choose from that they're going to fill in. It could be difficult verbs. It could be some advanced conversation chunks, right? So you get to really hone in on some specific things that you want them to learn grammar wise, and that's your calling sheet, and then that's the content for bingo that they're listening out for. I love to do activities with problems, right? And they can be fake. I kind of encourage them to be fake, but oftentimes students will, share sort of less serious problems. They forgot their book, they did something. And so you hand out some paper and usually little slips, and they write down a problem and they give them to you. And you read them, the problems, and everybody has to give advice. And in languages, they tend to be more complicated structures that you have to use to give advice, and you get to edit them, right? So you edit it as you're kind of saying it out, and they provide advice and responses to the problems. A richer way to do this after you've done some of those initial activities is to have students, they can write a problem, real or imagined, in the target language, I usually like to stick with the imagined ones here, but sometimes they opt to just they want to do this, it's their choice. Students might want to do something that's real, but that they have to kind of like in you can either have them do it to themselves, or they write out, a problem and then some possible solutions, or they can even use this activity to practice advanced narration, but keeping it with that theme of sort of problems. uh, Students could write these problems, quote unquote, that could be imagined, and then everyone exchanges them and they give advice. So you can either provide they can provide themselves with possible solutions, they can use it as a narration activity, or providing each other with solutions. Again, the problems tend to be they have fun with them. They tend not to be anything serious. I've yet to see that. It tends to be really lighthearted and fun opportunity for some interaction. The next activity comes from, as you see, this just a little, sort of a little storyboard. You can find these freely online. I love freeology.org. And with some of those um, problems that we talked about, they can make little skits. And I like to share this tool in the context of making sort of skits and videos and plays, anything, simulations, anything like that, because it's a technique that a lot of filmmakers use, right? They plan out their stories and they use these types of tools, surely ones that are far more sophisticated, to do this, was just simple with paper. They might be giant post-it notes where they move the story around. They have special software that does it. But for our purposes, it's a great tool to sort of tell a story. So I tend to use these. They can be adapted to any level. So, you know, it might even be something like a little skit where somebody's ordering in a restaurant, right? Or it can be retelling what happened in a reading, or it can be planning out a video that they're going to make, or again, extracting from reading any kind of content where they have to sort of draw and either write a summary or write dialogues. And so using this, right, students can make like a drama out of the fake problems. They can make a video or a play or even a written dialogue. And they tend to be really fun. They are opportunities to acquire some pretty advanced structures and really practice that advanced paragraph level language. So thanks for this series. I think the next series coming up, we've got actually I'm not sure which ones I'm gonna share next, but if you have anything specific that you would like to get some activities for, please let me know in the comments. Until next time.